Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Two Chapters a Day. Today, I read chapters 19 and 20, and a lot, well, kind of a lot happens in this chapter, and kind of not a lot. So, quick recap at the end of 18, the group arrived at Arid Hole, and that's really where we left off. So it's the beginning of chapter 19, and Matt, Perrin, and Rand decide that they want to go exploring because there's this giant city at their disposal with nobody in it, so it can't be dangerous. And they don't tell anybody, which is like the number one rule of going exploring. So they run off in this place that they don't know anything about, and they don't tell anybody that they're with. And they leave Moraine, Egwene, and Tom and Lan at their like headquarters. And Moraine is recovering from her prowess in battle. So they go off and they're outside this building when all of a sudden this man comes up and he's like, "Come with me, kids. I've got candy in my van." Because that's basically what he says. He's like putting out such kidnapper vibes. What he actually says is, "Come with me. I've got this treasure down in the bottom of this building. And if you help me carry it to my horse, you can take whatever you carry with you." And so Matt and Perrin and Rand are like, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." So they go, and the whole time, Rand is a little wary, not super wary, not wary enough to not go, but wary enough to be on alert. And finally, he notices that this man, Mordeth, does not have a shadow. So then, when Rand calls him out on not having a shadow, he like swells up and threatens the three of them with death and then disappears. And so, naturally, and with like the first sensible thing that they've done in this chapter, they get out of there and go back to their little headquarters. When they get there, Moraine is like, "Clearly something happened, or else you wouldn't be tripping over yourselves to get in here. So what happened?" And they tell her what happened, and she is like, "Oh, you didn't touch anything, did you? Nothing. He didn't touch you." And that's kind of weird, but more on that later. And the answer is no, thankfully. And so she tells them, kind of the story of Arid Hole and how their Mordeth is kind of like this ancient, like soul eating fog thing, I think is how I understood it. And so basically, Arid Hole is now full of like these creepy night creatures of all kinds, and they're only safe inside the circle of their headquarters that Moraine has warded. And this is mentioned a ton in like a 4-page span. So naturally, it's not surprising when it's revealed a little later when Lan comes back in and is like, "Oh my gosh, there's Trollocs here," even though Trollocs aren't supposed to come into this city because they were massacred centuries ago, and now they're scared of it. They're here, they're going to attack us, and we have to go, even though it's the middle of the night. So that's the end of chapter 19. And chapter 20 starts with them leaving in the middle of the night and everybody being on edge. And like 2 paragraphs in, they stop because this fog has surrounded them and cut them off from each other. And this fog is Mashadar, I think. And it is basically like if you touch it, it is, I think, going to like eat your soul. Maybe. I don't know. I could be very off on how I could have like way misunderstood this, but you don't want to touch it. And so I think that's why Moraine was asking if Rand or Matt or Perrin had touched anything or if Mordeth had touched them because Mordeth is Mashadar. I can't remember. So anyway, that's why Moraine had asked if they had touched anything. So all of a sudden, the group is split up into pairs slash one trio. So Moraine and Lan, the most capable ones, are by themselves, and I think it was Egwene and Perrin are by themselves, and then Mat, Rand, and Tom Maryland, who you know how I feel about Tom Maryland. um, so they all go their separate ways, and the chapter ends with Rand, Tom, and Mat on a boat. And it's basically the whole group is supposed to meet back up at the river. That's supposed to be their rendezvous point. So now that the group is split up, I feel like, I felt like we would spend the whole book trying to reach Tar Valon. And now I feel like we're going to continue in that vein, but separately, and that the rest of the book is going to be all of, oh, Nynaeve is also in the group. I don't know who she's with. That's an aside. I feel like the rest of the book is going to be them all separate and trying to meet back up again. So we'll see. A few quick things that I liked about these two chapters. I liked that finally, for what felt like the first time, we got different POVs. So there was a small section in this chapter that was from Perrin's point of view. And nothing like super big was revealed. It wasn't like this huge game-changing thing, but I really liked the change up in point of view. And also, I think it was in chapter 19, there was just this like tiny bit where Moraine thanked Nynaeve for the herbal tea that she made her. And I liked that because Nynaeve has like really been pushing these herbs on Moraine, and like I feel like trying to validate her position of authority as a wisdom. And finally, she's validated a little bit. And I feel like they kind of have like a love to dislike each other, not hate, but love to dislike each other relationship. But I feel like they're going to end up not being enemies like we might think in the beginning. So, next time, tomorrow, will be chapters 21 and 22. And hopefully, I don't know, maybe we'll get some new point of view chapters. Um, Maybe we're going to pick back up at the boat. Maybe we'll find out what the other people are doing. Maybe not. I don't know. So, if you're reading along again, tomorrow will be chapters 21 and 22. And thanks for watching, and let me know your thoughts down below.